Thank you, and as being the newest member, I'm probably the least knowledgeable about this issue, but I have studied the history of this committee and these hearings, and first I want to agree with the previous speaker that I'm glad that our automobiles aren't powered by horse manure coming from the industry. But in this
is a renewable source, let me note.
But in this particular issue, I know the question that the citizens of my district will ask is, we've got an industry that the government has participated in R&D. This is a for-profit industry. They provide the oil industry very generous tax rates and incentives. The three largest companies, oil companies in America in 2011 made $80 billion in profits, while the rest of the economy was struggling out of the worst recession that we've had in many, many years. Why would the government pay for R&D to create more profit for a profit company when these companies aren't making nickels and dimes, they're making huge dollars? I heard clearly that many of the smaller oil companies that don't make these type of profits are the ones that are the actual benefactors. Well, there's other ways for those companies to take advantage of this rate. I believe that I would like to have an answer on why, in the big picture, with companies making this kind of profit, should the government be rolling out taxpayers' dollars to do your R&D? Particularly, these aren't new technologies. This unconventional resources have been around for years, and the oil companies have decided not to pursue them because they weren't profitable in the end. So if now new technologies are making it more clear that they can be profitable, you would think that would be the responsibility of the oil companies to pursue it. And right in previous hearings on this very subject, when you get a member of the U.S. Chamber that, quote, says, "I don't think you will find anybody in the industry that's saying we need more money from the federal government." I believe that's the same thing the citizens of my district would say. So if there's a reasonable answer to that, I'd like to hear that.
I would like to point out that, again, as I said in my testimony, the majority of research funding of this type that goes to the Department of Energy, in general, it's funding university research. It's not going to ExxonMobil. It's not going to these very profitable oil companies. It's being spent in universities, and this is how we are able to train the engineers that this country desperately needs. And so I would encourage you to think of it that way. Don't think this is not money flowing directly to the industry. It is helping develop technology that anyone in the country is welcome to use, but it's really being spent in support of education.
And that education goes to people like Apple. You notice where Apple is on their profits compared to Exxon? You need to look at that. It's 4 times higher than what Exxon is. And the engineering that he was just talking about from those students is what helped. Will you give up your phone? Will you give up your computer? Will you give up the plastic that you use every day in these water bottles? It all comes from the research done originally by the oil and gas industry and utilized by other technologies like Apple.